This illness that I've had, it's given me time to reflect. And here I am, 80 years old, thinking of how to change.
Everyone's telling us how we should look at the world and the honor that we should run after, what's honorable, what's status. Sometimes you gotta stop and think, like, what's the real purpose? Say, which elevator? What's the real purpose of all this, you know? We're such a workforce society,
Right.
and the employment is such an important part of how we look at ourselves and how we view ourselves. What do you do for a living is one of the first
Right.
questions people ask.
What do you do? What do you do?
Oh, hello, very nice to meet you. What do you do? Right? Right? Am I right?
I breathe.
I breathe. Society's constantly feeding us what we should aspire to be, what we should strive to do, and to accomplish what's honorable in people's eyes. And every society has a different definition of honorable. I'm not just talking about historically. In this generation, if you go to different countries, the status symbols change, what's honorable changes, how you treat people changes, everything changes. It's a totally different culture in this world right now.
Right.
So here we are in America. It's an amazing country, a country of kindness, right? Feeding the poor, taking care of the stout. It's an amazing society. People spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years of their lives running after the Lexus, running after the Mercedes, the Beamer. They run after it.
I can identify with that.
Everyone can. Who can't? We all can, because we're in this world. We're bombarded with all of the different messaging constantly, you know? It's tough to not see the world that way. And so now what happens? People forget what's our purpose in the world. And the reality is, visiting the sick is a mitzvah. To visit someone, to bring a little cheer to the day. What do you say?
I'll tell you, this experience of being in the nursing home and being sick was a gift from Hashem for me.
Wow. Do you mind if I film this?
What?
Can I film you on this?
Yeah, sure. This illness that I've had for several months, it's given me time to reflect. And here I am, 80 years old, thinking of how to change. And it's not out of so much necessity. It's like God has given me this gift of this time before I leave this world to reflect and work on myself to change. I can't develop a new career. I'm not working, and I had a very lucrative practice, but I can't do them anymore. It's a blessing that God has given me, a limitation of finances. So I'm limited by that, but I'm expanded. I'm not limited. I've learned to expand my love of people. I see people in the nursing home who are sicker than I am, and I try to help them a bit, and I try to coordinate my life with being a better person to people that I meet and see and so forth. And it's given much more meaning to my life. 20-some years ago, I tried to become a religious Jew. I must have skipped some lessons or some steps because I still was thinking about the next car I was going to buy and the next vacation I was going to take. Understand the mitzvahs, what the mitzvahs are. It's taken me, maybe I'm a slow learner, but it's taken me a long time to get this internalized.
It's a lifelong process.
What?
It's a lifelong process.
Right, but like you just talked to me a little bit about the mitzvah of visiting the sick. I thought about how many people I know from our synagogue who they talked about being in the hospital. Why didn't I go to visit them? I saw people in the synagogue who were sort of reclusive, were inhibited, it seemed to me. They had some degree of obviously some social difficulties. Why didn't I go over to try to help them? I know some ways. Why did I not take an interest in them? And why was I always carrying with me a degree of competition? That I had to be better than the next person. I had to outshine them. Why did I continue to carry that? And it led to nothing of happiness. And I don't know that I even have completely woken up today. But I feel that I'm like on the right track now. I just saw a video of a religious Jewish wedding. And to see the joy, helping to bring joy to the couple who are getting married and trying to share their joy together, to just experience that, not be reading in a book or so, but experience that joy there in the community. Now I'm glad I got rid of all my money, all my assets. In the secular world, as soon as a child gets his trust fund or so, he goes through it and loses it, and in a year or two it's gone. His connection to you may be gone too, because the only connection that the two of you have made is through your physical assets. You know, I could tell the person who went through that, you haven't developed a loving relationship with which outlasts all the material rewards that you can get. I thank God, Baruch Hashem, that I've had this experience, and I think it took a while to get integrated into me, into something inside me, to develop, and I think with God's help, it didn't come through just my efforts, but it came up through some external force, which probably I call God, is what helped me to raise that level and to appreciate it. And now I'm so glad I've had this time to reflect and experience and continue to learn. We're people who are trying to improve ourselves. We're at least improvement, even if we're not improving ourselves, we respect it. We respect the person who is trying to improve themselves. At the very least, we respect it. And I used to have trouble learning how to learn this new language, how to speak to a frum person. This new language, which is not to talk about things that are outside of the realm of Torah. If I'm spending the time with a person, I want to have a meaningful experience with them. If I'm going to give up my time and they're going to give up their time, and this is going to be something meaningful, how do you talk about the Red Sox? Oh, didn't they do well this season? Oh, they got this pitcher they paid $90 million a year to get, and he's going to really make it. He's going to fill that empty spot in them and hear all that business. Mishigas, that's nothing. That's nothing that's going to get you anywhere. You're going to do anything for you. Unless you make it part of a mitzvah in some way. It's not going to do anything unless it's part of a mitzvah. I used to think that mitzvahs were just the nice things that were added extra to life. They're the essence of life.